Mr. Hensley's full guard. So 2 weeks ago we worked on basic full guard attacks. Last week, due to my wife being a brat, getting sick, I opted not to come, health and safety, all those fun things. But this week, working on passing some guards. So we're going to work on a couple different just basic guard breaks, as well as some guard passing options. So first thing I'm going to do is talk about grips. I generally like to start with the grip with my right hand on kind of that, if you're looking at a gi, there's always that kind of cut line right here. I always like to be just kind of a hand underneath that. If I'm way up high, I'm stretching myself out for the arm bar, and a lot of bad things to happen to myself. So I like to be there, or if I don't like that, I like to go belly on the belt. But I generally like to roll something, put it right in the center line here. Helps me control his chest and hips. So if he starts moving and doing a bunch of stuff, I can start shutting some of that motion down just by keeping a good firm hold here. My left hand, I'm going to grab just below that loop on your pants. So if you look at your pants here, there's always that little loop where the strings are. Grab it right there, and I'm rolling my hand in to where my elbow comes on top of his thigh, here and here. This is going to give me the best options as far as control, and depending on which direction I want to go. Now, I'm generally going to open to the side that I have the leg grip on. I'm going to rotate and spin. That way, this leg's out real wide, and I like to jam this foot right at that center line, here. When I'm here, because it helps me stretch this guard. Jeremy's a big, tall, long, lanky fuck. Makes him very inconsiderate when I'm trying to pass his guard, because it makes it hard. He's long. Two types of people's guards that I don't like passing, long and flexible, and if you're both, F you. Just in the barest sense of the word, I don't like it. So I'm here, I open, knee up that center line, and I'm stretching my hips back while putting pressure here. One of two things will happen. His guard will either naturally open at that point, or you'll have to apply a little bit of pressure here. The second that guard opens, I'm bringing this knee up and setting into my base here. Questions on this? So, I'm here, right? Grab my grip. Wide, open, stretch in a little bit of pressure here on this leg here. Once that guard breaks, boom. Knee up, foot flat on the mat. Alright? Now, once we get here, one of the simplest passes I like is just a simple knee cut. So my knee that comes up, drives across, my back leg steps up. We're here in the staple position. My knee stays close to his hip. My back foot stays just on the inside. And all my weight pressure is on my thigh, or on my shin right now. Now, because I like Jeremy, he's a nice guy and all those fun things, I'm keeping a lot of pressure closer to my knee. Versus when I don't like Jeremy, I sit it all on my thigh. Feels really good on all those nerves right on the soft spot on the inside of your thigh. Now, once we're here, this hand, underhook. Because if you don't, you just give him your back. Just turn over and give it to him, because you're gonna give it to him. This hand, I dig for that underhook. I like to use my unicorn horn. Control the head. Baseball slide through. End up inside. So I'm here. Boom. Set my grip. Widen, break, that guard. The second that guard breaks, I open up, and I keep those legs split as much as possible. How many of you have gone to a tournament so far, right? Especially white belts. When you get in full guard, how long are you there? It is a effing nightmare. Because there are schools around us that teach get to full guard and hold. I don't teach that way because I think it's a lame style of jiu-jitsu. Credit to them, they win probably more matches, whatever, I don't know. See, the second you get this guard broke, you gotta be ready to go. So we're here. As soon as that guard opens, I knee cut across. Big step up with this foot here. Instantly start digging for that under. I use my unicorn horn, get myself some head positioning, pick up this tricep, baseball slide, and a scissor side control. Questions on this?
after you break their guard, a lot of people, I know my first instinct is whatever they're trying to cut off, I bring that leg out or I try to re-guard with it or shield with it. What if they, like, is a good way of stopping that, I guess, kind of blocking it with your left shin, like shin blocking?
So, just make sure I'm understanding your question right. I'm here, I get here. He's going to try to
like
start.
Before you cut the knee, he like kind of brings that leg out.
This leg up?
Like the left one, or your right one, I think.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he's going to start driving this leg up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's in my way.
Not to deal with it after you cut
Yeah,
it.
I'd rather cut my knee across and get to here anyway. Because here's the thing. If I'm here and he starts really opening towards this side here, he's got to really scoot his hips away from me. Gonna help me step over anyway. Keeping this elbow in to block a lot. Big man, what you got?
I didn't understand how to break his guard.
Breaking his guard? It's good. I'm glad you ask questions. They don't ask. You seem smart. So, biggest thing is, see this knee right here? Let's stick it right in the middle of his butt. You know why? Because I'm comfortable. Makes him not like it. And when I'm here, I'm using that to push my hips back, and I'm pushing this leg down as much as I can. Benefit of that is, I'm stretching his legs out while adding force to it, which is going to stretch that guard and make it harder for him to hold on. Make sense? This knee, big part of it. This knee, this elbow. Biggest two reasons you can break that guard. Other questions? He asked a better question than most of you, because most of you don't ask questions. Remember that. We're here, cut that knee across, step. The second you get here, you don't have to rush here, guys. The only thing you have to really be in a hurry about is this underhook. After you get this underhook, the world's your oyster. There's a lot of fun options here. First one, easiest one, this baseball slide through. All right? Questions on this? Great. Super. Oh, I was going to say super complex guard break. And
Do you have to rush getting the underhook, or could you take your time?
just you got to be. You can't lose the underhook, so you don't have to be in a rush about it.
Yeah.
But here's what you can't let happen. So if I'm here and Jeremy starts sitting up behind me, bad stuff's happening. Yes, I have this leg pin, but if he gets this underhook, like let's say I get here, yeah, there's options, but there's not a lot of good ones. Like there's some back step stuff, there's some ideas that you can have here. The second I get this though, or at least I don't lose it. Even if I don't get the underhook, I can't lose the underhook back. We can be in here and hand fighting and doing stuff, right? But as long as I don't let him have the underhook, I'm still in decent shape. Make sense? Other questions on this? Sir? Alright, fill her out. Boom, I get here, right? Do all the right stuff, I get him to break his guard. But let's say I get here and for whatever reason I just don't feel confident driving that knee across and cutting through, right? Like maybe that's just an uncomfortable proposition for you. Maybe you're just not that athletic. I don't know. Things happen. Life happens, right? So I'm here. One of my other favorite passes to do from here is called the double under pass. One of my favorites, gi, no gi, MMA-ish can help, but definitely gi, no gi. When I'm here, all I'm going to do, and this is a very important detail, both my hands. Not one hand, both. Basics of white belt jiu-jitsu, both hands in, both hands out. This is a both hands out moment. Hands are going to go from their grips to underneath, and I'm going to grab the fronts of his thighs. As I do that, my back leg's going to drive myself up, and I'm going to stack Mr. Hensley up on the back of his neck. Now, because I like Mr. Hensley, I'm going to release this while we talk. He's old, life's tough, it happens, right? So when I'm here, this pass is about two things. Pressure, just, I don't like you. There's just a certain amount of I don't like you in this pass to make it work right. So when I'm here and I get up here, I'm putting all my weight over Mr. Hensley's knees, and I'm driving his hips back. How comfortable is Mr. Hensley?
Not much.
Not much.
0 sir.
Now, once I pick a side, I'm going to reach that hand across. If he has a collar, I'm grabbing that collar. I'm grabbing just a little bit of pressure on his neck here. Not because I'm going to choke him from here, but because fuck you, in the simplest way. And then I'm going to very slowly start to walk my hips to that side. and I'm not going to release until Mr. Hensley decides he's done. He passes his legs for me. I'm in side control with a nice paper cutter. This isn't one of those fancy 17 back step passes that you see on Instagram. This is simple, effective, smash pass jiu-jitsu. That's why I love it. This is very simple. You get him up, you snish. Alright, so when I'm here, I'm working, let's say we go to try that and it's just not there for you. Say he's driving this leg up and we just can't get to where we're comfortable. I scoop under, drive him up. I reach across. I'll feed myself that collar just that little bit. Just get that hand in there, just make it uncomfortable. Because when I get to here, Jeremy wants to pass.
I'm like, clueless, yo.
I will hold him there, if I'm a real asshole, to make him sit there in that discomfort. Because it's not about the pass at that point. It's about making it hard. Remember, there are times in life, Tyler, you need more inputs. That's how you make it. So, we're here. Boom. Same break, everything else happens the same. I get to this knee up position. Say we're here, it's just not working the way we want. All at the same time, my hands come out, and the second they clear hit underneath his legs, I drive forward, stack him up. Set a grip, or just grab that shoulder, walk to that side. Slow, steady pass. Get into second. Questions on this one?
Is there?
If they suck? Here's what I'll tell you about that paper cutter. It's not about finishing that shit. It's about the discomfort it's going to cause. Think about it this way. Humans are primates. We grew out of that line, right? When I force you to not breathe, guess what you have to then focus on? Shit that's happening around your neck because you're not breathing. So I'm doing that to split your mind. You're not worried about the pass when you can't breathe, and that's the very simple math of it. Like we talked about, up close magic is not what I'm doing with the cards. What I'm doing with the cards is a very mechanical thing. What I'm doing is getting you to look over here while I do that. Once I get him up like that, I'm setting that hand across his throat to get him to focus on that, not what I'm doing with it. Now, he's tired, he sucks. Yeah, you may drop an elbow through and finish that paper cutter from side control, but most people who don't suck are just going to push your elbow. Now, can you do that? Reach through. There's some options to finish, but realistically, I heard a question behind me.
I was going to ask if you could go to the other collar grip to turn it into a...
Could. I would rather focus on the pass at that point, take side.
What do you want hand placement once you pass?
Once I pass, so if I'm here, Mr. Hensley, turn me over. So when I pass, boom, I get to here, right? I drive up. I'm generally going to come here. The second I get past, it's going to depend on what I'm doing, but generally I'm going to have one hand high, one hand low. I'm going to keep this here, especially if I'm here and I just need to cause the focus on this, not what everything else I'm doing. The guy like this, especially if I'm gonna secure side points and then pop me on the other. The guy like that a lot. Or if I'm here and I need to secure, I can get him to focus on this and not re-guarding.
You don't want to go under.
I can. At any point you can go back under. Like, depends on what you want to do here. So like for me, I'm gonna come back under at some point, drive that face across so I can mount. And may sit out to side control and do that leg more serious. It just depends on where you're going. You can stay in that choke. You can scoop under. Just tactical, not technical.
They have on your right arm, if they have a really good grip on it, while you're kind of going for that, should you try to get that shoulder under so they don't?
Make sure I'm hearing you right. I'm here. Boom. He gets a grip on this.
Yeah, he has a really a strong grip on that hard grip. You just bring
If he
your
can
shoulder.
grip your hand through once you've driven it through his leg, you've got other problems. When I'm here, the biggest thing is the second my hand clears his thigh, which in a gi you will most likely be able to do. because your gi should have enough force. The second your hand hits that, it's just driving it. Most people, Corey, Hensley, a couple of the guys that have just that kung fu, you know, I work with my hands on pliers all day, people. Yeah, you may need to break that, but 90% of people, if you're here and he grabs that grip, I'm here, drive under, you'll be out. It's not, may slow you down for half a second, but it shouldn't impede your progress for the most part. At worst, I'm here, Jeremy grabs that grip, fatty part of your palm to the front of his knuckles. Break that grip and go. Other questions?
If you grab your collar and go right after that, would that stop that?
Oh, like if he grabs up here while I stack?
He did that, like right when you broke that grip, he grabbed your collar.
Okay, go ahead. Realize, guys, most of the time a collar grip is a inconvenience unless it's actively choking you. It just is. At a certain point, yes, there's always a grip they can grab. And guess what? If you're in pajamas, they're probably going to try to grab something to stop it. Most of the time, it's going to slow you down. It's not going to completely shut off what you're trying to do.
A lot of people will like grab.
Yeah, one of my favorite ones is people always like grab your pants. They're here and they'll like grab your pant legs thinking that's like, okay. Just get past. Maybe have a little less pressure, but still gonna get past. So. Other questions? Stack and pass. Your friends should hate you just a little bit at the end of this drill. Boom. I break. Good things happen, right? I get up to this knee up position. And let's say Mr. Hensley's just good at jiu-jitsu. He gets his hips square with me and I just don't like what's going on. He starts putting his feet on my hips. Nothing good's happening here, right? A lot of guys are gonna start working De La Riva to this leg, go into like open guard, both feet on the hips. A lot of stuff's gonna start coming this way. So I get to this position here. All I'm gonna do, push the same side leg down, slide my knee in, slide this knee up to the butt. Alright? Once we're here, once again, we go for the underhook. Here. Lift my hips up, slide through. So, Jeremy said it that way. I get to here, right? He squares up to me and I don't like what's happening. I just follow the hips over, drive this knee staple down, this foot comes up to trap this knee in. Big underhook, head position. Head position becomes very important on this one because you got to post. Once I'm here, drive my hips up and my head in. Knee comes through, cuts it. This one's nice, especially for you dirty leg lockers, because there's options here as well. What? Since we're a room full of white belts tonight, except for the few blue belts we have. Boom, we're here. I break. I get here. I drive that knee over. Step this leg up. All right. We're here. Dig and dig. Drive your head up. Knee.
You want the back foot like right at the center line, right?
Yes. Because when I'm here, the biggest difference is right here is, especially no-gi, or depending on the rule set. I'm going to add that on Thursdays. We're going to add that in for you more experienced guys is. This is a protected footlock. Everything's protected except for him. That's why I like this position here for you footlocking fucks. How, as a smash pass wrestler, I create a group of footlocking guard pullers, I don't know. Happened.
People can never catch you.
So we're here. Drive here. Head up. Slide through. Questions on this one? Absolutely. Other than that,
You don't get that underhook in silver like if you're just fighting. Not if they get the underhook, but if you're just fighting.
so when I'm here, this one here, as long as I have kind of that inside frame, it's not losing the underhook is still detrimental, but not as devastating. I still want to be blocking and driving for this. Most of the time, you're going to be able to hand fight and get into that, unless he's just, unless there's just something there. But most guys are going to be trying to frame and do other things that is going to allow you to get in. Grab that underhook, at least to some extent.
So you wouldn't even go for it until you get the underhook?
I'm not, because I'm not in any rush here.
Yeah, you just sit there.
Once I'm here, what's the best option Jeremy has? Jeremy's an established Ubo. It's going to be what, 5 years? 4 years? What options do you have? You've been around for a while. At best, he can push me backwards into the leg lock. He can try to drive this leg through to scissor sweep, also into the leg lock. I'm not in a rush here. I don't have to be anywhere. He tries to run from it. Like anything he's going to do is going to walk him into trouble. That's the difference of, once I get to a position like this, I don't have to rush. Because realize, I'm scratching the surface of the options bar. Who wants to guess how many different options there are from here if I went just this as a full series? Just this motion right here.
For you to submit,
Submit, pass, options of that.
15 plus.
There's probably somewhere between 15 and 20 options, and that's just me off the top of my head walking through this. I can low pass here. I can high drive it. And leg drag it. I can drop back for the leg lock, step over for the knee bar, dive over for the cross ankle. There, I mean, realize there's an options bar here that we're not exploring completely. So once I get here, don't feel the need to rush. You've now broken his guard, compromised him positionally. Wait for the mistake. So when I'm here, think about it this way, guys. Who remembers number lines from basic math class, right? 0 in the center, 1 negative 1, right? Everyone wants to go from 0 to 7 for some reason. I'm going to go from 0 to 1, because for him to end up in a positive position, he has to move 2 spaces. Because if I'm at 1, he's at negative 1. That's a big gap on a number line.
What are the key steps for fitting the food trigger?
Pressure on that knee. Because if I'm here, I'm not, let's say I drive up this side. I get here, I'm sitting on this leg. So if Jeremy wants to shrimp away. Go ahead. Shrimp, big guy. Shrimpy. He's taking me with him. I trapped his leg at this point. Now, is there an opportunity that he may slip that knee out from behind my staple and I may have to weave past it? Yeah. But guess what? If he shrimps real hard here and let's say I relieve that pressure, 50% chance I'll probably pass as well. So that's the benefit of once you get to this position, guys, I'll have to be in some big rush. Especially for you MMA guys. Donkey Kong. If I'm here in MMA, Jeremy, what can you do? Yeah, at best. Right? I'm sitting here, I get pressure on this. I'm gonna have to step this back leg up. I just have this leg stapled. Not a lot of great options for him. Wide options bar for me. Once I get here, expect combat, jiu-jitsu, MMA, whatever you want to do. You better start moving because I'm going to keep hitting you until you do. You don't get there. Take side. Just jiu-jitsu. I'm here. Nothing good gonna happen for you. You gotta do something. Patience. He has to make a mistake. Once I get there, how comfortable do you feel? How many times have you guys been sitting with me in a match or in a live roll where I just wait for you? I don't do anything magic, guys. I just wait for your mistake. I'm going to put myself in a slightly advantageous position and make you make a mistake. That's the entire goal of my jiu-jitsu. I am not physically faster, insanely strong, anything like that. I am at best average in both of those two categories. But tactically, I'm one of the best people in this gym at making you make a mistake. I'm going to catch you because I'm a step and a half ahead of you, and I know the mistake you're going to make. So the second I get here, and Jeremy makes a mistake. Oh, thanks. I'm past now. Now Jeremy's on this side too much. So guess what? All I'm going to do is I'm going to be like, hey Jeremy, you should probably come up here. Because I can already choke it. It's not that I made some huge technical gain or I made some huge move. I talked about it all. I did this the other day in MMA class. If I tell you 2 + 2, you can solve that simple math problem very quickly. The second I push my thumb under your throat, math gets very old. I don't care how simple it is.
So if really got what do you think?
Pushing the knee. His best option here is to push my bottom knee, the stable knee. If I'm here, his best option is to try to get this out of his grip. But to do that, he's got to give me that hand. So I'm here. Like if I'm here and here, his best option is going to be like, you don't have to overthink the route here. I have to make him make a mistake.
Do you want oil here or you would be balanced out?
90% of my weight is over there. I'm athletically balanced. So with here, 90% of my weight is here. Now, I can still have some pressure on this foot and I can still keep it athletic. But all my weight's over this thigh. Now, I'm gonna drive a little bit over to my knee so that Jeremy's not paying the entire time. When I'm doing this the right way, it's all right here on his thigh. That pain forces him to move. It's the same thing as when I put my thumb under your throat and ask you math questions. The second you induce pain in science, the psychology changes very quickly. Your brain starts shutting down. It addresses the problem of pain, not what everything else in the world does. Make sense? Drill it out. 1, 2, 3.